we're from a different star, flying over streets and our broken hearts. But they can't even touch us, we found a different beat. Paradise is waiting and we bought the lead. Oh, getting caught in the mist, there's so many that never get out of. They're feeding the fears and the doubts.
Hello guys, so this is a very unplanned, spontaneous vlog that I'm sharing with you. I went for a training session with my coach Jez Palmer recently to do some dressage training, and I took my Insta360 with me. It was one of the first times I'd properly used it, just set it up on the side of the arena. Wasn't really sure how much content it would capture, and it turns out it filmed the entire lesson. So unfortunately Jez is not sat near where the camera is, so you can't hear his audio that well. So I am going to have to add in voiceovers to try and explain what we were trying to achieve in various parts of the lesson. But I had so much footage that I thought it would be really useful to share it with you. Hopefully some of you will find it interesting and useful for your own training, but also for my own journey. I love having this sort of thing to document, and it's not often, in fact I don't think I've ever had an entire lesson recorded. As I mentioned, I've only used the Insta360 I think once before, so it was very much trial and error with it, and it lost us a couple of times. It seemed to not like us getting too close to the camera, so I've just cut where it lost us and then put us back in. This training session was in the run-up to our first Pet Plan Area Festival for the summer season of 2025, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy. So typically at the start of every lesson we'll have a bit of a catch-up, talk about what I've been up to with Mega since we saw Jez last, what's gone well, what's gone not so well, what do we want to work on. So I mentioned we'd been practicing some of our lateral suppleness movements, so things like travers along the long side, and then I was finding that Mega was preempting that and trying to give me quarters in when actually I wanted her to be straight. So we decided we'd try and correct that and work on that in this lesson, but also I've been trying to get more hind end engagement from Mega and pushing from behind, but actually I felt like I've been pushing her out of her rhythm potentially and not capturing that power and harnessing it and just letting it go out the front door. So that was something else I also wanted to work on today. So you've seen we've had a good trot around and a bit of a warm up just to get her responsive off my leg and working into a bit more of a contact. So then Jez was saying to combat her quarters potentially going a bit AWOL. I need to be using my corners more. I am a hella, particularly in this arena I think for some reason, for not utilising my corners. And corners are actually our friends, guys, believe it or not. So that was step one. And also the opposite action, I suppose, to their quarters coming in to try and counteract that is to put them in shoulder 4. So that's what we started working on straight away, getting Mega's shoulders pointing more towards the inside to make sure that her quarters were staying straight. And by also putting Mega in shoulder 4, this helped make sure that my contact was more there at the front end to help capture the energy that's coming through from the hind leg. So you can see straight away, this is literally on the first lap of the arena. The rhythm is much more consistent. She looks much more connected from the back end to the front. So Jez, bless him, had played the role of IT technician and had a little play around and movement of the camera. So whilst he was doing that, I wasn't 100% focused on my riding and Mega. So you can see here, I've lost the consistent contact, the roundness. She's on the end of the rein, but she's not properly working through. So Jez made a comment and a joke of he looked away for 5 minutes and my horse is no longer on the bit. But anyway, we got back to it and we went up into canter. So once we were up into the canter, it was thinking about balance, not letting, because we've gone up into canter, Mega to rush forward, to still encourage her to sit and engage and use her hind leg. But then equally, on the canter particularly, I need to encourage suppleness and softness through her body. I can sometimes ask for flexion through her neck, which is fine, but I can ask too much sometimes rather than actually getting that suppleness from her body. So you'll see I'm doing quite a few gives and retakes of the inside rein to just make sure that I'm not doing too much of that, trying to pull just with my inside hand, and is she truly off my inside leg and bending. Jez was then also encouraging me to think about my own positioning. So we call it the chair. I sometimes have a tendency to grip up a little bit with my legs, which then pushes my whole lower leg position out of balance. So instead of it being hip and you've got a direct line from your hip to your heel, my leg will be too far forwards. So I have to be really mindful about feeling like I'm stretching my leg down, and this in turn helps me feel like I'm riding Mega up into the contact because I've got that more correct positioning and balance for myself in the saddle. So here I feel like the canter is already looking much better. It's got a lovely punch and jump to it, but here we're still working on using my corners, which I didn't do very well here and I'm pretty sure I got told off for, and keeping that shoulder fore feeling still in the canter, so that when you're doing a circle or you're following a track, the shoulders are the line that you're staying on, rather than trying to pilot using the head and neck too much. It should be a bit more independent, which is then what we started to work on next. Then we had a transition down into trot, which we lost a bit of impulsion into. So it was then making sure she was quick and responsive off my aids when I said, no, we're keeping going. And then we came back into the walk and had a little walk break. And I was really pleased with that transition. So then we did a bit of work in the walk, and I'd said to Jez that she's been a bit of a terror recently for when I'm picking her up in a test after our free walk, for keeping that contact and keeping that consistent feel down the rein. So he was saying to get her working a little bit rounder, but for me to carry my hands upward a little bit more, and to again use my corners, because you can almost do like a mini leg yield almost into your outside rein. So that's why we then did a bit of a square return there to help try and keep that outside rein contact so that she can't evade me and then ultimately jog. Then we did some practice of walk to canters. So the first attempt here, I didn't keep Mega connected enough on the outside rein, so which is why she then raised her head. It wasn't a very nice transition, so we immediately came back to walk and tried that again. So Jez was saying to keep a better connection down my outside rein, bend my elbows a bit more rather than my naughty habit of letting my elbows go straight. And we tried it again, and obviously Mega was much sharper, she knew what was coming, but then Jez was saying straight away I need to be going back into that shoulder 4 with her. So continuing with the shoulder 4, Jez then told me to go large, and he was saying again ride right into this corner, and then going large. This arena actually has mirrors at the bottom, so he was saying look in the mirror, really check that you can see her right shoulder has come across and is almost pointing at C. So we did that all the way along. I got told off for not riding into this corner and just skipping past it, but you can see she looks so much more connected and through and balanced in this canter, which I was really pleased with. We then started to look at playing with a bit more of the lateral suppleness, so we started to introduce some travers here, baby half pass, sort of. We're still working on it, guys, it's a work in progress, but by doing this, it does mean and give me so much more control over the canter, rather than it can get a little bit hairy and a bit fast. So we were doing that. Again, she just feels and looks so powerful and strong. So along this long side, we were continuing with the shoulder 4 feeling. And then I think here he was trying to get me to do more of the baby half pass, but actually it ended up being a bit more of a leg yield. Like I said, work in progress. Then we were having a bit of a play with trying to get the canter to collect a bit more, and Jez was saying here it was quite evident of how much Mega uses my inside hand as a bit of a prop to hold her up, because when I then do pull a bit more with my right hand, that's why we were then getting these little inconsistencies in rhythm or break. So that's where he was then encouraging me to continue with the give and retakes on my inside hand, so that she can't do that, and it encourages her to stay in her own balance a bit more, and then I can be a bit more influential with my outside rein. So then you know how it is, you have to change the rein and do some of the same work on the other rein. So we changed the rein across the diagonal here, and Jez was saying to keep her in shoulder 4 left, and we actually maintained some counter canter to check her balance, her self-carriage, can she stay in that same rhythm, can she remain connected, and actually I was pretty pleased with this. So as I said, we then needed to repeat some of the exercises we'd done on the other rein, now on this rein. So here we're working again on that collection, seeing if I can really take a half halt. Can she maintain the balance and self-carriage, but in that much more collected canter? And Jez was encouraging me to take a bit more of a risk and be a bit bolder in what I'm asking. And if I don't get that reaction, ask again a little bit stronger, and not back off if I don't get exactly what I want first time. Had a play with some of our other gears, so pushed really on for a medium and then tested that collection aid to see, can I get that real clear transition back after a medium canter? That's where a lot of marks are lost in tests.
Right, come on, walk. Good. Yeah, that's. Good. And up to your trot. Right, now slow that down. That's too fast. But what you're trying to do is create the energy, but by running, you got to bring it back and then touch her and make her quicker. Quicker. So go straight, bend, yeah. Now push her shoulders left. Good, yeah. Now shoulders left, shoulders left. That means your right leg, not your hand. Go on, yeah. Well done, Yeah, go on, lean your right leg back, left leg on the curve. Go on, yeah, now pull her shoulders this way. Yeah, and bend her to the left. Yeah, go on. And I don't know how small she is. Like, that's not a problem. You're better off going, that is a normal when they don't understand it. Good. It doesn't have to feel, crazily crossing or anything like that. It's just to get the position. So now make sure you can see the letter P between her ears. P, now go over to P. Yeah, now drop your right hand down, left hand up. Yeah, now bend it, nose to the left, nose left, nose left, nose left. Yeah, stay there. Yeah, and you just got to keep doing them and keep working on them. Let's go down the centre line. Now leg yield to M. Look at M, leg yield. Good, don't go fast. Yeah, right hand down. Yeah. Yeah, good. Good. Well done. Good, centre line. Leg build again to P. Not a half pass, just straight neck. Now leg give over to P. Yeah, now small, now push over. Good. Yeah, now give the right hand. Yeah. Yeah. I think in the test you're trying to go too fast in them, so then you don't keep them all like parallel. Yeah. Okay, have a quick walk. Good, now sharp. Okay, shoulder pull, now the pull. Now sharp. Now we're going to hit the legs around the right. Yeah, give the right hand. Yeah, good. Now push the body more on your right leg. Yeah, okay, twist the neck. Good. A little bit lower on the left. Good. 2 again. That's it. Now wait, shoulder, no, turn off, turn right. You can't go into it spinning at quarters in. Okay, you've got to remember to draw a line with your shoulders on that line. To then be able to go right up, to right confidently up your line. Now turn. Yeah. Now, yes, yeah. And then leg on, leg off. So she learns to cross and get bigger, not run forward. Good, good, much better. Feel that? Good. Now do that the other way. Well done. Now turn. Stop. Right hand down. Yeah, and use your right leg. Yeah. Yeah, now over. Yes. Yeah, stay there. Stop. Well, yeah. That's now a bit more parallel now. Well done. Pattern. Good. Really good. That is much better like that. Yeah?
And then we let Mega have a little stretch off before we walked and finished. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I've tried to leave the audio in where you can hear it because towards the end of the lesson my headset had run out of battery, so Jez was having to shout and move around the arena a little bit more so I could hear him. It's quite echoey in this arena, so I hope you can hear everything okay. But yes, if you like this video and would like to see more of this type of format, please do comment and let me know, and I will hopefully see you for another video soon. Bye guys.
I think, is it still going? I'm
Yeah.
surprised it's still going.
Yeah.